This episode is sponsored by one of our faves, Function of Beauty. One size never fits all, so why would you apply one size fits all to your beauty routine?
Function of Beauty makes personalized shampoos and conditioners that are formulated just for you, and now they have even more to treat your unique hair needs from hair to toe. Function of Beauty now offers customizable body wash and lotion, and the best part, my favorite part, is they put your name on it.
So what are you waiting for? Go to functionofbeauty.com/advice to take your 4-part hair profile quiz and save 20% on your first order.
Go to functionofbeauty.com/advice, ADVICE, for 20% off and let them know you heard about it from our show.
That's functionofbeauty.com/advice.
Today's episode is sponsored by Blue Blocks. You guys know Taryn and I are big Blue Blocks fans. Blue light harm, it's real, guys. It's a real monster out there, and we got to do what we got to do to protect our eyes. So hit them with some facts, Taryn.
You know, I think honestly, Ash, like people don't think about protecting their eyes. Like we put sunscreen on, we, you know, use conditioner for our hair. I can't think of any other.
We wear hats.
But legit, like your eyes, they're so important, and there's so many things that are harmful, like blue light damages for our eyes, which can lead to digital eye strain, blurred vision, headaches, dry, watery eyes, and some of this could even cause heightened anxiety, depression, and low energy. Like that's a no for me.
They're really cute. Taryn and I both have the Maverick ones. We have the silver framed Maverick glasses, and they're so cute.
So freaking cute.
I mean, even if I don't get ready, I'll put them on and I feel like I'm ready.
And you just feel cute.
Guys, get your energy back, sleep better, and block out the unhealthy effects of blue light with Blue Blocks. Get free shipping worldwide and 15% off by going to blueblocks.com/advice or enter code ADVICE at checkout.
Again, that's BlueBlocks, BLUBLOX.com/advice for 15% off, or just use the code ADVICE.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice. I'm Ashley.
I'm Taryn.
And we're here to advise you. But actually, today is a little bit different. We have a guest.
Yes, we
which
do.
We're very excited about.
We have 2 guests.
But before we get to that, I do want to remind you guys, next week starts our October series. We're very excited about it. The stories are coming in. They're horrifying. They're terrifying. And we're very excited to share them with you.
But they're great. You're doing a great job.
In the best way. In the best way. So be sure to check us out next week. We're going to be putting up fun videos again. We're going to be in our costumes again. And we're going to be sharing scary stories. So look forward to that. Today, however, we have a fun guest. Take it away, Taryn. Guests.
Last week we had 1. Today we have 2.
We're just on fire.
We're gonna have, no, I'm just kidding.
We're on fire.
We are joined today by 2 just freaking dope, solid guys that are in a band called Fly By Midnight. Super freaking talented. Their songs are bops, and we're super pumped we interviewed them about music, creative process, all of the above, and quarantine.
Yeah, something that you guys have been writing in a lot this year about how to stay inspired, how to stay motivated, how to stay creative, and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get into the episode.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Hey guys.
Hey, hello. What's up? Well, virtual wave.
Everyone in our audience right now is like, wait, is that a male voice?
Yeah, they're like, what's going on? There's always 2 guys.
We don't have many male interactions on this show, so this is great.
Awesome.
It's a big deal. It's always the 2 of us.
Happy to be a part of it.
We're super pumped to have you guys on here. Thank you so much. And we'd love to just like get to know you guys. Also like hear about what quarantine's been like as a creative. We have fans that sent in a bunch of questions. So
Fun
not
Q&A.
too juicy, but hopefully a little juicy.
Yeah.
Fun. Just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
just the right amount.
we're stoked to be able to talk to you guys. I think in quarantine, we're always down to make new friends right now, right? Because we're not going out. We're not meeting people. So
yeah.
You guys are our new virtual friends. So
Honored.
Yeah.
Honored. Thank you.
Well, let's start off with just like a whole little, like a quick little bio about you guys. Where did you meet? What your names are? Name of the band? All that good stuff. Go for it.
Cool. So I'm Slavo.
yeah, I'm Justin.
This is Justin. We met in New York, Staten Island specifically, about 7 years ago. I moved up from Florida. And our backgrounds are pretty different, which is always fun to talk about. Justin kind of grew up on musical theater, and I was like a screamo punk scene dude. So music-wise, we totally came from different backgrounds, which is why I feel like pop is like right in the middle of both of those.
It's like a happy
It's
medium.
the like in the middle happy place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we met, like Slavo said, he moved from Florida to Staten Island about 7-8 years ago. And I'm I'm born and raised there, and I was working in a studio out there, and we kind of linked up and just to write together. And from there, I told Slavo we're going to be a duo. And I don't think he knew what he was getting himself into.
He didn't just tell me we were going to be a duo, though. He, like, got down on a knee and made it, like, this dramatic thing. He's like, hey, man, we're going to do this together, 50-50 marriage. And
I feel like it should be like that, you know? Like a full commitment, like we're doing the damn thing.
And
exactly.
I'm sure you guys could relate. Like, you know, you don't realize how, like, important something's going to be. It's taking up, like, our entire life now. You know, we're really, like, stuck with each other, whether we like it or not. Fortunately, we like it like 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But we are like brothers. A lot of people ask if we are brothers. But actually, although my name's Justin and you go by Slavo, but fun fact, we're actually both Justin. So
Really?
Yeah. So if we were brothers,
So where did Slavo come from?
Slavo. So my last name is Slavin, and I played football growing up, and all the kids on the team used to call me Slavo. It's just something that kind of stuck. And when I met him, and we were doing this thing, we'd literally be in the studio, and someone would say Justin, and we both look. It was like the typical both have the same name kind of thing. And so I told him, I was like, I got a nickname, we could use that, and then just kind of stuck. So
yeah, if we were
My
brothers,
name's Ashley. I fully get it.
Yeah, if we were brothers and we were both Justin, our mom would be super lazy. For naming us.
Or
that.
really cool. Who knows?
Or really cool. But yeah, no, and we've just been working together ever since. It's been really, really dope. And we moved from New York to LA this past January. So we had about 2 months of fun before kind of everything changed.
Yeah, that was really poor timing.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
To
Really
like
poor
finally get here and then just be like locked in.
Yeah, I
for the
mean,
rest
you
of the
should
year.
have checked that a pandemic wasn't coming.
Well,
kind of.
we would have asked
poor
you
planning.
if we knew you guys by then. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I totally would have known. I'm kind of psyched.
Yeah.
So.
So wait, so how long have you guys been an official item band?
I would
thing?
say we always joke about this because it's like being in a relationship and one of you doesn't know the actual start date, and then the other one gets mad, but we don't get mad about it. But he always says like 6 years. I swear it's 5 years.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you spend every day with someone and it feels like you've been friends for like life. And yeah, I think it's probably 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, somewhere in that time span.
Yeah.
Are you guys roommates also, or do you have separate places?
So you live in NoHo with actually our buddy who's also a videographer from New York. They live together, and then I live here next to the studio. So the studio's in the back of my house, but I live here with my
that's so
fiance.
nice. That's so
awesome.
nice. That's so convenient. That's like the dream.
Yeah.
Just walk outside and there's
To be honest, when we lived in
There's the office.
when we had the studio in Staten Island, it got to the point where I was living there like in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like kind of crazy for like 2 years we were doing that, right? And I was like kind of fed up with it. I finally moved out, ended up in Lyndhurst, New Jersey, and I had to go over the bridge every day. It was like a $15 toll. And so I'm like, this is kind of like a happy medium for me because I still have to get up and leave the house and come out to the studio, which is like literally like a 2-second walk.
Yeah.
But it's definitely refreshing.
I just remembered when we used to, when Slavo used to live in the studio in Staten Island, I'd come some mornings and he would, like, in his pajamas, like, roll out of bed and start making music. And it was a weird...
I was making quarantine a cool thing before it was, like, ever a cool thing.
Dang.
Exactly.
So you're thriving right now.
Just like 11 a.m., just drinking a beer. Justin, what's up? Come in.
yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, I can only imagine what the grind would be like because I feel like that's kind of like I feel like we're weirdly very similar. Like the two of you and the two of us, we work together. We're best friends. We like kind of created this thing that quickly became our jobs, and it's like a lot of just spending time together. But also, we do all our filming, all our recording, especially now during quarantine, from our house. So 90% of the time, we're in like sweatshirts and sweatpants.
Exactly. Yep.
And just like busting out content because, I mean, you know,
It's the quarantine
that's kind of the
uniform. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So your band is Fly By Midnight. Can you give us like how did the name come? Whose idea was it? What does it mean? All that good stuff.
Yeah, I wish it was a more like climactic story. We had written our first single together and were ready to release it before we had a name. So it was more like, that's kind of the last thing. Especially when we were in New York, working super late hours is a big part of our grind. So we wanted to incorporate some sort of midnight or night reference. And we kind of stumbled on Fly By Night, which was a Rush song. So we couldn't use that.
Yeah.
So we just threw the mid in there and haven't looked back, right?
We had all these like very obscure. We were trying to like spice it up and come up with something like organically. We were trying to like go. We were driving around Staten Island and like looking at different street signs. We're like, oh, how can we make this feel like it's like, you know, It's about us. It makes sense. And we literally spent like a week doing that and couldn't come up with anything.
Yeah.
I remember we played this one game too where we're like, all right, we're gonna throw out 2 different words just randomly on 3 and then see what it comes together as. And then I think we said like full grown was a name, and I was like, that's just really wrong.
Yeah, we were almost full grown.
So I think Fly by Midnight is better than full grown.
That's amazing. Question: how would you describe, like in a very saturated industry, how would you describe your sound and like what makes it kind of unique compared to everything else?
Yeah, I think and what keeps it really fresh and exciting for us is, although we're in the pop space, we're constantly trying to reinvent and continue to experiment with what pop is. And I think that's a really exciting thing for us lately. We've been doing a lot of collaborations with artists in different spaces, whether it's Scandinavian pop, whether it's K-pop, hip-hop, and really trying to, just with our music, try to push the needle of what pop could be. And I think also it's, and we love this aspect of Fly by Midnight, but it is very nostalgic that it's both of us singing. We're constantly kind of taking turns. And a lot of people don't know that, but if you like know and then listen, you're like, there's no way that's the same voice, because he has this low, like gravelly voice, and I have this like, I tried to find the nice word for it. It's just high and delicate.
It's a very sweet voice, yeah.
That was really nice.
It's a very sweet voice.
Thanks, buddy.
That was good. That was
I have to listen to it all the time, so.
Yeah.
But it's a very nice voice.
What about like, what are some like musical inspirations you draw from? Like, what were favorite bands growing up? Where do you get your inspiration?
Yeah, when we first started, we called it retro pop. So a lot of our influences were, for me, Billy Joel, like his storytelling as a songwriter. I mean, just in general, I think he's a huge inspiration for me personally. But you were always saying Hall & Oates, being that they're both a duo and they both sing and stuff like that. The Eagles, Styx, like a lot of big vocal production, a lot of harmonies, anything like that back in the day.
Yeah, I feel like we still incorporate that a lot too, where like these like pads of vocals coming at you is even very like Queen and like a lot of these retro bands. But like lately, we're obsessed with the 1975. I think what they do is like super.
Same. I love me some Maddie.
So
I
good.
think Taryn and I have been to like
so many
6 concerts.
Wow.
maybe
I'm jealous.
5. We're big fans. We're big fans.
Big fans.
Yeah, they're awesome, and even like their aesthetic and they're like every album's giving something a little bit different. I think we really admire that, and that's something that we're trying to do. We're really, you know, to give a different song to your fans every time that has a little bit of a different eclectic influence. I think keeps not only fans on their toes, but it keeps it interesting for us. We've been doing this for a minute, and luckily, and it goes back to quarantine, but luckily we're still inspired every day. So
no, that's super cool, because it is kind of risky, because you have people that come and if they're like obsessed with a specific sound and then you switch it up, like some people will be like, oh, this is cool, or some people are like, we miss the old you know what I mean?
Exactly,
So it's hard to like know exactly like what response you're gonna get.
True.
Yeah, it's a really good point, and it's something that I think we learned early on, where you're exactly right. There's going to be fans that like hear. I think a big one for me was like Waking Up when we put that out. It was a single off of our last album that just to me didn't really make sense. It was like, wow, this is a really like kind of like tropical vibe, and it just didn't add up with some of these alternative flares. But we love the song. We wrote the song, and let's put it out, and there's gonna be people that loved it, and they did.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any rules anymore, you know? Yeah.
No. I feel like pop, I mean, anything creative, like it's always evolving, it's always changing. And like the goal, I think the healthy place that you would want to be is in a place where you can like move and flow with that growth. That's constantly happening. So that's fun. And
T Swift walked so everyone could run.
Exactly.
Like she did that crossover and was like,
Yep.
That was super inspirational too. That's another example of like, you know, someone to this day like doing that on that stage, on that level of like, you know, presence. She's still able to do something that drastic, and people receive it really well. So I think that's another she's a huge inspiration, I think, to everyone.
I agree.
For us specifically.
yeah. Love her.
So what's your writing process like? I know there's 2 of you. Is it like lyrics first? Is it music first? Do either of you guys have a specific role that you play in that process that maybe one of you is more gifted at, or, you know, tell us more about how you write together.
Yeah, I mean, it changes every time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Slavo is primarily the producer in the duo. And we're both lyricists and we write melodies. I think, and actually you've done this from time and time again, but I find myself very obsessed with coming into sessions with an idea or a title or some sort of emotion to kind of like kick off the song. But yeah, I mean, it changes from time to time. I think what's so interesting about writing with other people and co-writing is even if it's something very personal to you, you slowly throughout the session start to find how it resonates with everyone in the room. And yeah, like would you add anything to that?
No, I mean, yeah, there's so many ways. I mean, like he was saying, sometimes it's just a title that the song Vibe that we put out a few years ago was literally, we thought the word vibe was cool, and at the time it was like such a big and new thing, and we were like, oh, let's try something with that and see what happens. And then it just morphed into this idea of like personalizing it and personifying it, and you physically throwing this vibe, and it's just something that kind of happened and it's cool. And even like the new single Caffeine was like, we wrote it with our good friend Brett, who we also wrote our song Lovely with, and we came in, and I remember you took Elon on for a walk for a second, and we had been trying for a long time to write something about caffeine because we're coffee addicts, and I was like, let's just write a song Caffeine and figure out how to tie an emotion to it. Like what does caffeine make you feel like? And it's like a very open forum, and I'm sure you guys could kind of relate, where a good working relationship, creative relationship, is throwing ideas in the room, and some of them are shit, you know, and working through that and finding the gold. Yeah.
So you know how like all our hair is different because we were all, created different. So why would we use the same shampoo and conditioner, Ashley?
Girl, I don't know.
It's not the same. And it's time that we take a stand and we give our hair what it needs.
Guys, Function of Beauty makes personalized shampoo and conditioners that are formulated just for you. And now they have even more goodies that you can treat yourself with. They just came out with a customizable body wash and body lotion. Love that. Their new body wash and lotion are tailored to your skin moisture levels and other preferences. All you have to do is go to their website, take your hair profile quiz or your skin profile quiz, tell them a little bit about your needs, and they will give you a perfect little bottle just for you. It has your name on it. You can pick the scent. You can pick the color. That's my favorite thing. Mine is like this really pretty mint green, and it smells like melons.
Mine is like a citrusy smelling, and I have a mint green and then also like a coral color.
Ooh, you can be crazy and switch up the colors like Taryn.
So what are you waiting for? Go to functionofbeauty.com/advice to take your 4-part hair profile quiz and save 20% off your first order.
Go to functionofbeauty.com/advice, ADVICE, for 20% off, and let them know that you heard about them from our show.
That's functionofbeauty.com/advice.
Today's episode is sponsored by Blue Blocks. You guys know Taryn and I are big fans. Blue light harm, it's real, guys. It's a real monster out there, and we got to do what we got to do to protect our eyes. So hit them with some facts, Taryn.
I think honestly, Ash, like people don't think about protecting their eyes. Like we put sunscreen on, we, use conditioner for our hair. I can't think of any other.
We wear hats.
But legit, like your eyes, they're so important, and there's so many things that are harmful, like blue light damages for our eyes, which can lead to digital eye strain, blurred vision, headaches, dry, watery eyes, and some of this could even cause heightened anxiety, depression, and low energy. Like that's a no for me.
I didn't believe in blue light at first.
I didn't either.
And then I got my pair of blue light glasses.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I had no headaches.
Next level. And guys, the founders of this company, I got to chat with them a little bit, and they are just solid people who realized there was a problem, realized there's a lot of con people out there that are selling blue light glasses, and decided to make evidence-backed glasses that are made under optics laboratory conditions in Australia. And let me just say, they have over 40 hip frames, and like, I'm not joking. Like, they cute.
They're really cute. Taryn and I both have the Maverick ones. We have the silver framed Maverick glasses, and they're so cute.
So freaking cute.
I mean, even if I don't get ready, I'll put them on and I feel
Yeah,
like I'm
and
ready.
you just feel cute.
Guys, get your energy back, sleep better, and block out the unhealthy effects of blue light with Blue Blocks. Get free shipping worldwide and 15% off by going to blueblocks.com/advice or enter code ADVICE at checkout.
Again, that's BlueBlocks, BLUBLOX.com/advice for 15% off, or just use the code ADVICE.
I know it changes with, from song to song, but how long in general would you say it takes to write a song for you guys?
I'd say anywhere between 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes it's way quicker. We did a song literally as a pitch the other night, and it took us maybe like an hour to write it.
Dang, that's cool.
And sometimes it takes us a few days. Sometimes we get stuck in a part and we're like, oh, we'll come revisit this, tomorrow or the next week or something. And fresh years.
It really depends, because Slavo and I, especially the past couple of years, have found like a really interesting pivot for us where we're working on Fly By Midnight, but we're also, because of what Fly By Midnight's done, we've been able to write for other artists as well. And I feel like, it's there's so many different circumstances. When you write for a certain artist that has a vision, things could come together in 2 hours. For us, when it's just the both of us, I feel like we tend to harp a bit more on lyrics, so it does take a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm definitely the more stubborn one when it comes to like finding the perfect lyric, whatever that may be. Yeah. So if it's ever longer, it's usually because I'm just like, nah, this ain't good enough.
I'm glad he admits that. Yeah.
But usually it's for the best, though. It's trying to get the best product.
It is for the best, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like so I sing too.
Oh, a little feature.
Brush my shoulders off.
Here we go.
But I always struggled with writing because it was either like that, like either the song would come so fluid and it would just be like, puking out the lyrics, or I just would get stuck on like one like line that I was obsessed with, but I couldn't figure it out. And I remember the first time I did like a writing session with other people, it went so smooth and it was just so cool because we did that. I think you just mentioned like kind of like a concept first. So I would be like, okay, I want to write about, this guy that like fell in love with me and we were good friends and I like broke his heart. Like that's what I want to write about. And then we just kind of like went off of that. And it was such a cool process to see everyone kind of like, someone shouts something out and everyone else is like, yeah, that's so dope, and you kind of just like flow off of that. But it's always interesting to hear what people's like creative process is like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was actually saying yesterday, we had a session yesterday and I was like, wow, I feel like the best songs come out where you're in a space with people that you feel comfortable enough to talk about that. And I think, honestly, that's why a lot of our more successful songs that show a bit more emotion, there have been female co-writers in the room that kind of pull that out of you in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because obviously Slavo and I are best friends and we're always talking about stuff. But like, yeah, sometimes you need that kind of that presence in the room to be like, well, how are you actually feeling? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you actually mentioned writing for other people, and that was another question that we were going to ask. Would you say that it's easier to write for someone else or easier to write, be in control of your own music?
It's a good question.
I think it's probably a super difficult question because we write for some artists that have a very similar mentality to us.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who we're writing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, artists are very interesting people a lot of the time, right? And there are some of our favorite artists that we write with that I wouldn't say difficult because that sounds like a negative word, right? But like they want it to feel so genuine to them that sometimes you can hit a wall. But then there have been artists like the first one that came to mind was the artist Vincent. That it was our first time meeting him, and the first song we wrote was such a vulnerable 3-hour session, and we hit it in the perfect timing for how he was feeling and how we were feeling. And yeah, what would you say?
I guess you just have to figure out like how you work with these people, the different artists, because like I feel like with some people they kind of just write the song and you're just there to kind of support them. Like every now and then you'll throw in a little idea here that they might like, or like a melody here that they're into, but a lot of the times it's just them kind of coming up with their own ideas and you just helping them formulate what they're trying to say, so it's not really like, at least that's in my experience when we work with different artists. And because it's true, like they're trying to tell their story and we're just there to help really at that point. So I feel like on the production side of things, it could be a fun and sometimes confusing process because especially now in quarantine, a lot of times they're not really able to be there with you 24/7 while you're working on a production. So you'll send a version and then it might not be what they're expecting or you know what I mean? And for us too, even receiving things where we're super hands-on, and if we got like a video cut for something that we, you know, weren't expecting to look a certain way, I could see how from the other artist's perspective, you'd want to be stubborn about it and really get what you want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. Have you ever written for, I only was involved in a writing session with one other person, and we wrote a song called Heartbreak Like a Gangsta, because that was like their style. And so like not, I mean, on the inside, yes, but like not my style of like how I sing or whatever. And I just remember like, it was like such a fun experience, because we're like lyrics about like popping bottles of champagne and whatever that like I wouldn't necessarily write in my own stuff. Yeah. So have you ever like written with someone where their style was so opposite that it was like fun because it felt like playing, like you got
unleashed
to just
a side of you or something like that?
Yeah, I think we're, especially lately, even more where, like I said, as we're trying to even get more eclectic in our genre, collaborating with these other artists that are, I think we aspire to get in rooms for hip hop and these other artists. I think we just had one this week with a girl with like a very soulful voice, still pop, but some of the stuff she was doing wasn't very grid. It was kind of like falling in and out of timings that I was like, you know, I'm just gonna follow her lead here, and it is. It's like a really cool palate cleanser too, because when you sometimes write with the same people, you have a system, and it's cool to break that up.
Yeah, we worked with someone last year who was like straight up a rapper, which was really dope. But like writing with her, like she was just rapping, and that's not really like our thing. We do it as like a joke with our friends, but it's not really like our bread and butter. So it was definitely interesting. And it was, like you said, it's fun because you don't really do it all the time. And it was definitely refreshing. But at the same time, like trying to figure out how we could, you know, assist her when we really can't, you know, that well. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So we did a poll. We asked people to just ask questions, you know, like we've all, you know, our favorite bands, we like have questions we wish we could ask. So we had everyone channel that, and we had a lot of your fans write in that were like, yes, my favorite band.
Awesome.
So we're just going to kind of like pop some off, and then you guys can answer, give the people what they want.
That's what they want. That's what they're asking. Yeah. First question is, which of your songs means the most to you?
I think Just Say It.
Which of your children is your favorite?
Right, pretty much.
The others will know.
Don't tell the others. Yeah.
Either for me, I think it's either Just Say It or You Belong. Those two, I feel like, were cool turning points. I feel like for us sonically, and like it was. I think Just Say It was like our first like super emotional song, and we really tapped into like a chill hits vibe that we kind of embodied.
Yeah.
For a lot of our stuff now.
Yeah, I'd say You Belong, because
You Belong was a big one too.
I think there's so many things that conspired around that song. We were on a tour where we had to finish it, and we rented a studio in the middle of Wisconsin to finish it, and there were just a lot of different things, and I remember that was the first one that got on New Music Friday US, and we were like, I was crying. I don't know why I was crying, but it's just, yeah, I feel like that song, even outside of how it sounds, but like the journey of that was a really, really cool one that brought us to another level, I think.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, was it my turn? Sorry. We're so professional. Does having fans scare you? Have you had any scary situations?
Or just the thought of like people being obsessed with you in that way?
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, we haven't really gotten that like scary fan yet. You know what I mean? That's really kind of put a bad taste in our mouth. At least not me. I don't know.
I mean, I've definitely had a couple. I think it's funny. I was talking to someone about it this week. I think it all comes with what we're all doing. You know, we're putting our faces out there. We're putting our creative out there. And I think it's exciting. I think a lot of fans of ours, you're right in the respect that we weirdly have the most respectful fans, I think. Especially being a male artist and having primarily female fans too. There's a lot of appreciation for the music, and not like, you know, take your shirt off and like send me your feet, you know? So I don't think
they show a lot of love too. I feel like I very rarely see any kind of shade or hate from our fans, you know, or just random people that, you know, come across us, which is really refreshing. I'm sure at some point it'll, maybe if we keep going up, maybe there'll be people that want to throw shade at us, but it comes with the territory, like you said. So
yeah, that kind of leads into the next question. Is there anything that you're worried about with everything that comes with going up and like getting bigger and more recognized?
To It's a good question. I feel like
Because it's scary.
I just feel like making sure that we stay healthy together because I mean we've been the same way since we started and just I don't think I'd ever be concerned, but just making sure that we're always open and communicating about and stuff. I don't know if we're allowed to curse. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. We can bleep it.
Yeah, no, actually, I have the same exact answer. I feel like, especially the past couple of years, with our manager as well, like our level of communication is so, it's at such a great place right now. Because there is, like, as we are growing, there are, like, real life discussions of the boring stuff, like money and this and all that. And I think we've been navigating it so well that I can only hope that we kind of stay on that path, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're involved in like a creative outlet, it's very much tied to like you. So like if you're not in a healthy place or, you know, we've had some episodes we've gone to record and I'm like a feeder, like I need you to like give me your energy and be happy for me to like feel that way too. And where Ashley is like super just like mellow. So like there'd be sometimes I would be like, I need 5 seconds of like uninterrupted eye contact. Like I need you to hype me up. Yeah. So because like what you do, like you don't just go in and read a script. Like you don't just have like tracks playing and you're not playing. You know what I mean? It's it's you that's involved. And I think especially with what we do and also music, like I love when I can like feel emotion coming from when someone's singing and I can feel that connection, which is totally a thing. Like people are like, how do you hear it? But you hear it when it's like someone's heart being poured into it. So it is so important that you're making sure that you're healthy so that you can output like a healthy, creative, best version of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, but we just found out that Taryn and I would be in a duo then. Because
I was going to say Taryn is Justin and Ashley is Slavo.
Yeah, we are literally the same exact person. Because sometimes I come in, I'm like, I got this idea. Da-da. And Slavo's like, cool.
Oh my gosh. No,
Wait, literally the exact same.
I'll be like, I want to tell you the story. And I tell her. And then she's like, cool, that's cool. And I'm like, I'm going to go cry for 5 minutes, restructure. I'll come back in.
But I'm like, I'm fully into it. Like I'm so into it. I don't know why I can't express it any further. Yeah. But I like it. So maybe that's why we work so well together.
Yeah, exactly. Literally our doppelgangers.
Yeah. I love that. That's great.
It's hilarious. Did you do the last one? Taryn and I
we were like, let's do every other, but I don't have that memory span.
It's okay. I got it. The fans want to know: do you like One Direction?
This is important.
Love 'em.
Think about your answer.
Yeah, love them.
Love them. Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome is, I think, our favorite song.
Yeah. You know, I remember.
Wait, what did you say?
Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh, okay.
Personal fave.
Great song. You know, I remember we were driving to the ferry once in New York, and Infinity just came out. And I remember we were in the car listening to it. And I think
we used to sing 18 too. We did that at like some college shows and stuff here and there.
Yeah, I think what they've done and how they've grown to their solo projects is super inspiring too.
Yeah.
I think
and Zayn just had a baby, right? Congrats, Zayn.
Shout out, Zayn. We also we played a Firefly Festival, and later that night we went to go see, was it Lil Wayne? I think.
Yes.
And we got hit with like this, was it a soccer ball or some type of ball in our head? And we turned around like, who the hell did that? And it's Louis. And he was right next to us.
Stop.
And it was with his friends.
That's so funny.
And we were like, and then we went up to him and his bodyguard almost snapped my neck. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'm going to throw in like a personal question. You've lived in New York and now you're living in LA. I know that this is a sucky time to be living in LA.
I was going to say, LA has not had a fair shot.
If you were to like pick a favorite, what would it be?
They're so different. I mean, I personally like New York.
Raspy there for a second.
I like New York better on a personal response. But.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived my entire life in New York, and there's pros and cons. But LA is really growing on me, and I feel like even our situation in LA, outside of quarantine, just like our day-to-day of getting in the studio and like how far we are from each other, and like there is, it's really cool. But we do have like my family's in New York, our best friends who I've known since I was like 14. All 10 of our friends are like still there. So it's tough.
I think it's important to discern though. My answer is like, no shade to Staten Island, but I don't prefer Staten Island over LA. I would take LA over Staten Island any day. I prefer Manhattan or like Brooklyn. Or, you know what I mean?
gotta
Also,
clarify.
Big
yes,
difference.
yes, yes. Big. That is a huge difference. Okay. What is the hardest thing that comes with being a musician, and how do you get through it?
I think just staying excited, especially since we've been doing it for 5 years. I mean, we get in the studio pretty much every day, and we're working on stuff. So keeping each other excited about what we're doing and staying creative and fresh.
Yeah, yeah. Even like outside of like writing the music, but like throwing in the past year, we've been able to throw in like a lot of, I don't know, brand collaborations and stuff like that, and really just trying to expand who we are as creatives. Because I think we're learning every day. You know, like a lot of people don't know this, and we don't really talk about it in interviews a lot. But all of our videos we direct, and Salevo edits all them as well. So we're like very much
incredible. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, and we're very much.
Wait,
obsessed.
can we talk about the caffeine video? It's not out yet,
Oh
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
it will be when
Comes
this.
out what, tomorrow?
It'll be out when this
comes out tomorrow. So yeah, it will be out by the
25th.
time. Yeah, yeah. We'd love to talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, I loved like the concept, the vibe. It was so dope. All of your like love interests were like prime picks.
The Kelly life size was
J-Lo.
a touch,
Yeah.
like a perfect touch, cherry on top.
I wanted to know, did you guys pick your like girls, your dream girls for the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin and I sat in this room and he pitched the idea to me originally. He was like, what if we're like obsessed with a girl? And then I was like, why don't we all just have our own girl? Like we could all be obsessed with a girl.
Yeah.
And then we just threw a bunch of different names around from that era. And I remember we just ended up on those three, and yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. We were talking before about like pitching an idea to each other and like energies, but I was it was pretty late at night, and I was listening to the song. Salevo was working on something, and I sent that concept, the general concept, to a couple of people before I said it to him, because I was like, I gotta pitch this perfectly right.
Yeah.
It's gotta land, and yeah, and your response, I was like, oh, I think we're gonna do this, and it's really interesting because the whole concept we brought to our co-director Russell, and it really is super. It's like really relevant to where we're at now, because like I watch Saved by the Bell every day. Like that's still such a big part of my life. So to be able to incorporate that is like a really, it's just a cool homage to.
And it's funny too, like we didn't really think about it this way, but even Tyra Banks being the host of Dancing with the Stars was like kind of fell in our laps. We picked her before that even was a thing. J-Lo, did the Super Bowl, which was crazy.
So relevant, yeah.
And like they all kind of are still super relevant these days, which is like a cool thing,
Yeah.
to keep them involved in that.
No, I loved it. Everybody listening, stop what you're doing, go watch it. It's definitely worth it.
Thank you.
Big Kelly
Kelly
Kapowski fan, so I was pumped on that.
That's awesome.
So one of your listeners wrote in and said they said one of my favorite bands, so that's cute. Their main question was, do you think of the person that you're singing about while you're singing?
I think maybe there's two songs.
There's a couple, yeah.
Yeah, because once again, like when we write, a lot of the time, even if it is personal to begin with, it becomes everyone's kind of story. But I think I think Ain't Got Much to Go reminds me of someone. All the
It's
feels,
usually, to be honest, it's usually Justin has some like story, and he's like, "Yo, let's write about this," and I'm like, "All right, cool." So when I'm singing, I'm thinking about the person that he's thinking about, and it doesn't really make sense. So
Just strumming along, like, okay, this works.
I gotta like shake myself
That's
out of it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I love that was a good question.
Yeah, that was really good.
How often do you get writer's block?
It happens every now and then. I feel like it's not something that luckily we have each other, so if one of us is having an off day, the other one usually can compensate for it.
I swear, I feel like real writer's block was one time. It was
Waiting tables. Yeah.
Like years ago, where we were like,
We beat ourselves up over that one. Yeah.
and you get in your own head. That's really what writer's block is.
Yeah.
But I literally think that's the only session in our entire career that we were like, we gotta walk around, we gotta get Italian ices, we gotta do jumping jacks, we gotta figure it out. And but other than that, no. If one of us is stuck, it takes one person unlocking one thing, and then you're kind of like on the highway there. Yeah.
And it's funny, we have so many songs just on a hard drive that will never see the light of day, and they all
You
maybe
never
have
know.
like.
They could make a comeback. You never
It's
know.
true. It's funny. We have our buddy Jake Miller has like the same thing where he has a bunch of songs, and his problem with his fans is he'll like mention a song randomly that he just has, and all his fans will be like, "Oh my god, release it," and blow it up, and then he almost feels like he's obligated to release it.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Yeah.
we try to keep the name secret, so
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
people
yeah,
don't get too excited.
Do you deal with comparison to other bands?
feel like early on we did.
What was the question?
Do we deal with comparisons to other bands? Yeah, I feel like it's so weird to say, but this year has been such an odd year, but slightly kind to us in the respect where, like, last year we were in LA just for writing trips for 6 months total, meeting with major labels and kind of getting like the typical shit where it's like, but are you the Chainsmokers? Because it's two of you, but both of you sing, and it was just like really not clicking for a lot of stuff. And I think now with the momentum that we're building, we don't need to even answer those questions anymore. Whatever it is kind of working in some capacity. So I feel like whenever people listen to our stuff, we got a lot of the 1975. Yep. Just that alty sound. Sometimes we like to bring out, and even like Charlie Puth, I think we're big fans of, and especially me on the production side, I like to kind of emulate a lot of stuff he does. So sonically, I think it comes, we get a lot of Charlie Puth. And I think in some form that kind of comparison's flattering, like I think there's if it
especially when it's a dope band,
you're like
exactly.
Okay, I'll take that compliment.
It's like,
thank
Matt
you.
Healy,
Oh my God, stop it.
Love that.
Well, I think that brings up an interesting thing, because I think a lot of people, I only dealt with it a little bit when I was like, oh, should I do music, whatever. But a lot of people don't realize that whole part of it. Like when you start to get involved of like getting the right things in place and contracts and whatever, so much is pushed on you of like, well, you should have this look, you should do this sound, you should do, the concept, the look, all this stuff, that a lot of times I think artists get I know with me, like I was getting pushed like this, like Gwen Stefani feel, which is like literally polar opposites of like who I am. So it's a lot of like, you're like, okay, but you're critiquing like literally who we are, like as artists, as people. Yeah. And so I think a lot of people don't understand all of that comes in the beginning and the discouragement that can come with it. And then, if you stick with like, no, this is our sound, this is who we are, sometimes that means deals fall through and things don't happen. So I would love if you could talk about that, because I think that's not talked about too much.
Yeah,
I think I even like to start by saying girls in the industry get it way worse than I think guys do, which is really up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like we've only had a couple moments where we've ever had like our image questioned, and we just shrug it off. I mean, at that point, it's like, okay, you don't get it, so we'll move on.
I'd say our solution to that in our career, even from a sonically thing, like how we should sound, we've only invited people onto our team that don't question any of that ever. Like, and honestly, we're super grateful that and it's like a running joke, but we just had a call with our like newer label and our management, and our manager says, I never even ask what the video concept is. We're lucky that our team creatively has never even had input on a song, because
just trust you.
They trust the path that we're going on creatively, and they found other avenues to help, right?
Yeah, too. And like, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but people we worked with since day one on the project, I remember the first video we were going to put out, they were so against us doing it, and they just like didn't like the aesthetic, and they didn't think it was a good idea. And the two of us were like, this is what we want to do. Like it's something cool, something new, and ended up doing really well for us. And nothing against them, we still love them, but it's like one of those things that when people are that adamant about something that you're that passionate about, I feel like it tells you a lot about like how you're going to work with them. You know what I mean?
And we left them shortly after. And I don't think that was the sole reason, but it was more like, long story short, it was a very low budget thing we filmed that was in a hallway, but it felt really real to us. And we had filmed the exact same song, but it was a bit more of a high budget. And we were like, wow, this feels way more like our friendship. We're like bouncing around and being us. And
funny enough, that was the start of me starting to edit the videos for us. And to this day, I mean, I still do it. So it's like one of those things where like, it just made sense and it stuck,
Yeah.
No, I love that. I mean, especially, again, I feel like this episode is like creative episode, but there's a difference from like enhancing something and then like stifling it and trying to like, hard turn, like to go to a different direction. And exactly, I think a lot of creatives and what people don't understand in more of like the production, like business side of it is when they do that stifling, like you're losing out on so much that can come of it. So I think, a partnership is like so important.
Yeah. It's kind of similar, but different. I went through this weird phase with my YouTube channel of like not being able to just catch up and keep putting content out. So I went through a phase of trying to find editors to hire to edit my videos for me. And it was such a weird transitional period trying to explain to them what I wanted it to be like and what my vibe is. And they kept trying to throw different stuff at me that I didn't like. And the weird thing is, like, full circle, now Taryn is the one who helps me edit, but it makes sense that she knows who I am, like, at my core. She knows my vibe. She knows what kind of stuff I like. So I didn't even have to tell her. I didn't even have to tell her, like, that I wouldn't like this clip. Like, she'll just automatically get rid of it without me even having to tell her. And that's just because, you know, we're connected talented. Like that. And she's so talented.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because, like I said before, Slavo edits our stuff. And very early on, because it was a new thing for me, I was very micromanaging, like, trying to really look at everything he's doing. And now, yeah, we've been with each other for 5-6 years. You know, there's certain things that he knows if I look stupid in something, and sometimes he'll leave it in there just to get a rile out of me.
Yeah.
But
like, dude, look at you.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think that sort of genuineness. We're just grateful that our team really embraces it. Really embraces it. Yeah.
You know, I'm not necessarily a wine drinker, but I know you are, Ash.
Oh, I am.
And just hear me out. Isn't, like, the biggest problem is you open a bottle and if you don't finish it, it just gets bad?
It's a commitment.
It's
like
a commitment.
Opening a bottle of wine is a commitment.
It's
similar
a commitment.
to, like, a proposal.
So we obviously have a solution for you. Today we are partnering with Usual Wines, and they've solved that problem. Ash, tell us about it.
Guys, you already know we're big fans of Usual Wines. We've talked about it before, and we're just going to talk about it again. Each bottle is 6.3 ounces. That's a heavy pour, about 1.5 glasses of wine, which means you don't have to waste wine.
Yep.
Do we just stand up and applaud, or like what? Usual Wines are made from world-class AVAs in California, like Napa, Sonoma, and Santa Barbara, all those things, made with minimal intervention, 0 sugar, and 0 additives. Usual Wines has a red blend, a rosé, and a sparkling white wine called Brut, and I've tried all 3. I'm a big fan of all 3.
So that's all you need to know. And that's on live.
Ashley approved.
So if you guys would like to get in on this, go check out their website at www.usualwines.com and use our discount code ADVICE for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us.
Again, guys, go check out their website at www.usualwines.com and use our code ADVICE, ADVICE, for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us. Okay, guys, as you guys know, we are sponsored today by The New Yorker. This is something that has been around for a long time. This year, with everything that's been going on, it is so important to stay connected to the world outside of where you live, of your home. Mm-hmm. There's things going on that we need to stay connected with. So yeah, let's talk to them a little bit about The New Yorker.
The New Yorker has both print and online and stands apart for its commitment to truth and accuracy, quality writing, and compelling reporting and storytelling. The New Yorker has become the daily digital destination for news and culture coverage, publishing 10 to 15 exclusive site-only stories every day. In addition to that, you can use their apps, read from the article archive dating all the way back to 1925.
Oh my gosh.
Solve crossword puzzles and more.
Crossword puzzles, my favorite part.
Right? What's cool too is all of their writers like specialize in specific things that they write over. So whether that's John Cassidy, who covers politics and economics, Helen Rosner, who's a James Beard award-winning food writer, or Hilton Als, who is a theater critic for The New Yorker, who has won multiple awards for his writing, including the 2017 Pulitzer Prize for criticism.
Guys, for a limited time, you can get 12 weeks of The New Yorker for just $6, which is a savings. If you're bad at math, let me tell you. 50%, that's 50% off. Plus, listeners of our show will receive an exclusive tote bag for free. Go to newyorker.com/advice.
That's New Yorker, NEWYORKER.com/advice to get 12 weeks off The New Yorker for just $6 and a free tote bag.
Again, newyorker.com/advice.
I love this next question.
I know. Next question. Do you listen to your own songs?
All the time.
Or do you think it's annoying?
All the time.
All the time, yeah.
Just on repeat.
By myself, yeah. I try not to around other people because that's pretty right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, every now and then.
Right.
So the cool thing about like working on so many different songs, and like obviously we listen to them all the time, but like living with my fiance, if we're out on the road, like I'll play her a couple songs, just say, and I'm sure you're the same way, but like, do you have like one that you like more than the other? Like, and I try to get the taste of, you know, obviously I really care about her and her opinion. So stuff like that. I think that's more the reason why I like to listen to a lot of the stuff. And then I like to listen to our stuff and then switch to something that's like the hottest thing right now and just see how it compares and how we could do better. And
yeah,
you know,
that's cool.
Yeah, I find myself, because I mean, I love Salevo's fiance. She's like the most dope person. And I find myself asking you a lot, hey, have you played this for?
Yeah.
you know,
what did she think? What were her thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And her favorite songs You Belong To, so.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go. It's unanimous. Do you ever like ask people? I always think it's so interesting because like, you know, you write something with like a message behind it. And then if you ask someone like, hey, what did this song, like, what emotions did it evoke? Like, what did it make you like think of, or what do you think it's written about? And sometimes they'll say something like totally like different from like your original intent. Do you guys ever just like ask people like, oh, what do you think this is about?
Yeah, one thing comes to mind. There was you talk about the video recap or whatever?
Of Waiting Tables?
Of Waiting Tables, yeah. We did a video for one of our singles, Waiting Tables, and someone posted like, what is it, like a review or recap on YouTube? And
they like broke down each like line and lyric kind of thing. And
with the video, and it was such a deep dive into a dark place of this song. And I was like, damn, totally not what this is about. This is about me like being a waiter.
You're like, I need to check in on myself. Am I okay?
Right?
Like, am I crying out
the
for
lyrics
help?
say, they were like, it was like this big internal battle, like depression and stuff, which we
my
never even
gosh.
thought of in general. But like, I guess you can kind of interpret it the way that this person did.
Yeah, and I feel like it's cool. Like with our song "Lovely," there are so many fans that are like, they although it's a personal thing, but for them they interpret it differently. It reminds them of a certain person in their life, and it's like their anthem of that person. So sometimes it's cool. I mean, that was cool, just a little bit dark. I remember sending it to you, being like, "Were we feeling this dark when we wrote this?"
What is
It's
this
cool
song
too, like-
about again?
It's cool. Like we have a song Vinyl that I remember we had this. Was her name's Taryn too, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Taryn.
Yeah.
So she, I think it was like her wedding song or something like that. She was obsessed with this song, and it's just like cool to know that like a song that we just casually wrote about, you know, like kind of going back and being like in love like they used to back in the day, and it was like such a big thing for her that she put in her wedding was so, I don't know, it's just such a cool thing.
Really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why music is so cool, because it can like pull out something different for different people, you know? And there's like certain songs where I'm like, oh my God, it's like you wrote this when I was going through that, and you feel connected to that person. And I think that's what makes music like super cool.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's kind of the end of our Q&A. Everything that we do on this podcast usually comes from listeners. So they'll send in stories and we usually advise them like what we would do, not in a professional way at all, but just like what we would do if we were in that situation.
Love that.
Someone wrote in and Taryn's going to read it off for us. I actually haven't heard it yet either, so we're going to be listening to it together.
Cool.
For
Yeah,
the
that's
first
kind
time.
of our. Well, yeah, you guys said you've listened to a couple episodes.
Yeah. And the
they're
Bob
big
Saget
fans.
one
They're big fans.
was awesome. I was like finding myself like fanboying. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Stop it.
Same. Okay. So yeah, we each usually like bring a story, and then the other person hasn't heard it, and that way you get like prepared advice, and then also just like, you know, off the cuff.
Raw on the
Smart.
spot.
Cool.
So this one is titled, and I felt like this was a perfect one for you guys. Also, you're going to yell at me because some of the stuff she says is stuff I say that you get annoyed with me about. It's titled Professor Dream Destroyer at Your Service.
Oh, that's a good title.
It caught me. Hi, Ashley and Taryn. Oh my gosh, if you read this, I might honestly explode. I am a huge fan. Your podcast has literally been getting me through quarantine. I love how much you guys help us all address and cope with some big issues we all face, while at the same time making us laugh and giving us a safe place to escape all the craziness in the world. Okay, sorry, rant over. We love you, Anonymous.
Aww.
It's anonymous, by the way.
Okay, anonymous.
So I have discovered that I am my own worst enemy in a lot of areas of life. I could literally teach a course on destroying one's own creativity and confidence. I honestly don't know where it stems from, because I grew up in a healthy household with very supportive, loving parents. Don't get me wrong, I have dealt with some encounters with bullies and negative failing situations, but nothing massive enough in my eyes to cause the crippling fear that seems to stop all of my dreams and goals before they even begin. I've always been a creative person. I'm a singer, and I've been singing pretty much my whole life. Here's where the incredibly frustrating slap some sense into her part comes. I have always been told I have a great voice. I'm always chosen for solos and performance opportunities. In other words, I receive constant validation from others that I do in fact have talent. But what I tell myself is different. I'm so in my head anytime I sing or perform, putting so much effort into making sure every single note or phrase is perfect. Afterwards, I critique myself, tear myself down. And the one time I did a small show with my own songs, I refused and still to this day have never watched any footage from that night because my own songs are too personal and I just can't go there. Then whenever I desire to do anything with music, there's a deafening voice inside laughing, saying, you know, you're not good enough. So the desire just stops there. I can't even try. It's not just with singing. Basically anything that causes me to step out and lean on my own talent or skill is shut down by me before I even attempt. I can't seem to get past myself, and I honestly don't know what to do about it. Then enter quarantine. My creative side is dying slowly. My motivation is little to none, and I'm stuck in my apartment with me and my dream crusher self. I guess what I would love advice on is how to get past fear of failure. How do you make your love or passion for something outweigh the practical side of possibly not being successful? And how do you motivate yourself in the whole stay indoors time? Wow, thank you for giving me space to write this out. I feel like it was a mini therapy session, and you haven't even read it yet. Love you both, Anonymous.
Oh, cute.
Wow, that was deep.
That was a lot.
I'm like, what part do we want to
I mean, I feel like there's so many things to attack on that.
Do you guys want to jump in first, give your advice as musicians?
Yeah, I mean, I resonate with that a lot. I think before I met Slevo, I was kind of on the journey for a little bit on my own as an artist, and I think all I could recommend, especially when it seems like she has those people around her that are really supporting her and you know, seeing this talent in her, it's just surrounding yourself with the right team. I think they're a great example of this, and I love the story, is that Brockhampton, the boy band, met each other on a Kanye West forum, I think, and it was like through the internet, but they were all kind of talented lost souls, and really just reaching out for other people to be there to kind of push them. So I don't think beating up yourself that you against the world can push yourself to do these certain things. I think it is okay to admit that, hey, maybe I kind of need to start bringing on other people into my circle. Yeah, what would you say?
Yeah, I think I don't really struggle with that problem as much, which I'm very fortunate for. But I mean, I think whenever I do feel that way, it's because something that I thought I was supposed to achieve didn't happen. And I kind of beat myself up over it and try to figure out why I didn't, you know? And I think just the idea of on all levels of what we do just in life, people are dealing with the same, you know, problems. And just knowing that, I think, helps me too. Like, I'm not the only one that gets upset about this stuff or beats myself up over it. And I think that's just a big part of it. Just understanding that you're not the only one that feels this way about stuff. You know, there's people that are killing it and, you know, that are out there in the world that look like they're like doing the best stuff and that are super successful, and they still deal with the same stuff, you know?
Just to add to that too, I think, and you kind of just said it, but before anyone was successful, they weren't, right? And I try to think about that often, and like if I went on like my Facebook Messenger and I was scrolling through old messages and I see that my first videos I put on YouTube, I was spamming all my Facebook friends to check out, you know, because I like 100 views in was better than
big
0,
deal.
you know? And I think everyone starts there, and it's just stay the course. It's all part of the process.
But being that we're both duos, finding someone to support and maybe work with is maybe a good move for her.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's so true.
And then like listening to her, she sounded so self-deprecating. And I feel like the biggest thing that needs to change like right off the bat is how you think about yourself and how you talk to yourself. And I think once you start treating yourself a little more kindly, like, I don't know, I feel like you would just respond better. You're going to start being more creative. All these different things are going to happen that give you confidence. And then like the first thing that's just frustrating is I feel like you can't grow unless you look and listen to your old stuff. Like there's not going to be any kind of response or change in any way if you don't listen to whatever you're putting out, you know? And I'm not saying go like be, super narcissistic and listen to all your stuff 24/7.
Or do, honestly.
I mean, whatever makes it work. But
sometimes you got to gas yourself up.
You need to be able to critique yourself. And I think something really freeing will come when you finally let not only yourself watch those videos, but allow close people in your life that love you and want to like ultimately want the best for you to look at it as well.
Yeah. I think too, like you had said, I think a lot of people just don't talk about that part of like being nervous. Like I literally, my first on stage solo, I was 4 years old. I had no front teeth and I sang Happy Birthday Jesus with an adult choir and orchestra, which I will totally post on our Instagram.
Yes, please.
But like I've been singing forever, but still to this day, like when I step on stage, like my nerves take over. Like I'm super in my head. Like I can relate a lot to what she was saying. Like after I'm done singing, I want to hear like if someone thought it was good or like whatever. Like I get super involved in that. And I've realized over the years, like that's what like robs me from just enjoying like being on stage and singing. And like when you're too in your head, that's where the emotion side of like music can get kind of blurry. So I would definitely say, I think it's important to remember, like everyone deals with it and everyone's nervous.
So common.
And especially like you obviously Anonymous, like care about this enough, like almost too much. Like you're so, music and singing is so important to you. That is why you're so scared of it.
Yeah.
But I think, like we've all said, like you have to have a couple failures to like then look back and be like, oh, remember that one song that sucked? You know what I mean? But like now I've found my groove and it's the whole like trial and error that needs to happen, but you're not alone.
No,
I still
was
get
just
stage
gonna
fright.
say like my very first YouTube video I put out sucked. It's still out there, but it sucked. It was mortifying.
Let's watch it.
Like it's your first anything, like it's gonna be rough, and then you just have to kind of almost expect for it to not be amazing.
Yeah.
For you to like to get past that fear and then to just continue putting stuff out. So I don't know. I feel like 2020 sucks, but it's also the year to just like try. Just do it anyway.
Self-reflect.
I totally agree.
You guys are good at this advice thing. We may come to you every week.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Oh, we're here.
I do have a minor in counseling, so
She loves to remind everyone about that.
Duly noted.
Well, thank you, Anonymous, for writing in. Hopefully that little mini brainstorm session for you was helpful.
yeah. Oh, I have a side question just because I'm weird and curious that I'm not alone. Do you guys like when you get nervous, do you get nervous before you play
Yeah.
Live?
or
oh,
record?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay.
it's an energy.
How
you know?
does Yeah. How do your nerves present like physically? Like does anything weird happen?
Like, do we perspire? Like, do we?
Yeah, I think because sometimes like shows are different, right? But at my most nervous, I tend to be in my own box on stage. Like I really won't step out a lot. Also, I know you say this often, but like when we're not even nervous, but like when it's an uncomfortable audience, if we're opening up for a band and it's not our fans per se, I know I tend to look down more often than I probably should.
Let's say, I've noticed when I've watched like videos back of us, we both tend to look down, and sometimes we'll like rush through talking points when we could easily just chill out and like talk to the audience and be like super cool.
That's
But
the
it's
worst.
tough when
Yes.
you're like worried about how everyone's perceiving your show, and
Yeah.
the energy is.
I
a little
have
off,
one knuckle in my finger, this knuckle right here, that feels like it's being electrocuted. I don't know why.
Oh no!
I feel like I should get it checked out, but I know when I'm really nervous when I'm like, frick, my finger.
Next time we're gonna go see you perform, we're gonna be looking at your knuckle, making sure see what's going on with it.
We're gonna put our knuckle up for you. Knuckles up.
Blood flow. Yeah. Well, we also are very aware that you have a new single. We talked about it already. That's coming out the 25th of September. We were wondering if you would be willing to give us a little sneak peek, maybe sing a
we'd love
verse
to.
or a chorus.
We've never sang this ever live.
Yeah.
So
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
this
my
is
gosh,
our.
We practiced before this. We're not that crazy.
Yeah, we practiced about 30 minutes ago. But yeah, no, this is our new single, Caffeine. We'll do a little chorus.
This This is cool. I miss shows, so
I'm just
I'm
sit back and
thriving.
relax now.
I want you, it's way too late, I'm restless, I'm wide awake. Every time I lay down, I can't sleep, you're keeping me up, I'm like, I need you. And if you knew without you in my room, every time I lay down, I can't sleep, you're keeping me up, caffeine.
Yes.
Is that enough?
Thriving. We have a clap button.
That's all we know.
I hit it. Oh, you guys. Oh, how do you?
I don't know if I can hear
I
that.
don't think you guys can hear, but our Rodecaster has like sound effects buttons, and it's my favorite thing to try to hit the one I mean to, but I never do. But
my
I
gosh.
did. I don't think you heard it.
She hit a loud applause.
So you had applause.
Nice.
It was a big crowd
Thank you,
applause.
thank you.
It was great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on here. I loved this.
Yeah,
Just
this was
talking
fun.
about all this stuff, and I think a lot of people can relate with just finding that motivation and where does creativity come from and all that stuff.
Especially this year.
Especially this year.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to shout out like your socials or where can people find you and your music? All of the above.
Yeah. It's Fly By Midnight everywhere. And
Love that.
New single
Everywhere.
Caffeine featuring Shafi out now. Video's out, and we're stoked about it. And yeah, just to all of our fans, friends, family, thank you guys for making this all possible. So
Yeah.
You said it all.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. We'll be back next week with some. Wait, is October series next
Yes.
week? Our
You guys don't know, but last year we had an October series where we did
Freaking
strictly
epic.
scary stories, and it
Wow.
was insane.
I
So
love it.
that's starting soon, and we're very excited about it.
Yes. So still, if you have stories, anything like scary, whatever, send it in.
Well,
But
if you guys have stories,
Oh, yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
take
we'll
it.
think of some.
we'll send in a video
You wanna.
with our costumes on and everything.
A joke.
Yeah.
A joke that
Yes,
we.
please.
It's literally what we do.
A joke that we love to
please.
tell is
So great.
that Justin and I, when we're in hotel rooms on tour, I like to act like I'm possessed and scare the out of him.
why?
Just because it's funny and I think it's so good.
I don't think you guys understand. It is literally the worst thing ever because after shows we go out to a bar and we get like a little bit drunk and I want to go to bed and then he has a lamp next to him and he turns it out and then he turns it back on. And he goes.
It's,
And
the
he keeps-
it's so
Oh, no.
funny. So in honor of your
That's a
scary
no for me.
October,
Yeah.
Hard pass. No thanks. Jesus.
Okay, well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for joining,
for
and
having
we
us.
will see you next week. Bye.
bye.
Today, this episode is sponsored by our faves, Usual Wine. Ash, tell us a little bit about them.
Guys, I'm a big Usual Wines fan. Each bottle is 6.3 ounces, a heavy pour or about a glass and a half of wine.
Solid.
So no more like pouring out wine, which is always a bummer. And the best part is the wines are low carb and have 0 grams of sugar.
That's like
Amen and amen.
amen.
Am I right?
So if you guys would like to get on this, go check out their website at www.usualwines.com and use our discount code ADVICE for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us.
Again, guys, go to www.usualwines.com and use our discount code ADVICE, ADVICE, for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us. Today's episode is sponsored by The New Yorker. Don't call it a comeback, folks. They've been here for a long time. This year has brought a lot of things our way, and it is important to stay informed, to stay connected with important things and also like fun things like movies and TV shows. Tell them about it, Taryn.
I will. The New Yorker comes in both print and online. So however you like to read your news, they got you covered. And their articles literally cover a full range of topics, whether that's politics, news, international affairs, climate change and the environment, pop culture, the arts, fiction, food, humor, and cartoons. Like, must I go on?
Oh, so many things to read from.
Not to mention, it's super affordable. A 12-week subscription is just $6, including home delivery of the print edition each week and unlimited access to the New Yorker website. This is a 50% discount we about to give.
Hello. Okay, guys, for a limited time, you can get 12 weeks of The New Yorker for just $6. That's right, $6. That's a savings of 50%. 50.
Wow.
Not 15.
50.
50. Plus, listeners of our show will receive an exclusive tote bag for free 99. Go to newyorker.com/advice.
That's New Yorker, NEWYORKER.com/advice, ADVICE, to get 12 weeks off the New Yorker for just $6 and a free tote bag.
Again, guys, that's newyorker.com/advice.